Hi everyone, today is going to be a bit of a different format. We're going to talk about how Diablo could and should look. I want to share my perspective on the game, where I see the flaws, what would actually help the game, and how I'd personally like things to be. We're going to look at this through my eyes, the eyes of a veteran player who has been grinding this series since the very first installment. It's definitely going to be interesting material for a discussion, so settle in and let's get into it. But before that, a little bit about me. I'm a gamer, obviously, and my journey started when I was just a little kid. I used to go to my friend's place to play on his 486. We played every game available back then: Heroes of Might and Magic 1, Duke Nukem, Quake 1, Warcraft, Orcs, and Humans, and so on. But I remember exactly when Diablo 1 came out. It was something else entirely, and that's where the grind began. Since then, I've farmed every single Diablo title. And I mean a lot. Like a lot. I don't know why this addiction stuck with me until now, but it's amazing how much dopamine these games still give me. It is now 2026, and we are all waiting for Lord of Hatred. Where to start? Okay, so Diablo 4 did not have a good start at all.
And today, I'm really disappointed. Like, more so than usual.
I was disappointed. It was miles away from my expectations. I understand that game systems evolve over the years, but I didn't expect such an unfinished game. I'm a huge fan of this series, which is why I didn't give up on it, even though I came close a few times. I stuck with it, I tested, and I played every single season that came out. It always got a little bit better, but it still wasn't it. Honestly, I don't have massive expectations for Lord of Hatred either. I just want it to be good for everyone, the casuals, the hardcore grinders, and most importantly, I want it to be good for me. I consider myself a player somewhere in the middle. I want to share my opinion with you, and I'm really curious about the discussion in the comments, whether you think I'm completely off base, or if some of these ideas actually sound good to you. The Campfire was the clear signature of class selection. You saw all the classes standing together around the fire, and you could visually compare them. For me, this worked perfectly. You clicked a class, it stepped closer to the fire, performed a great animation, and the player immediately knew what to expect from that character. Something similar to the Campfire exists in Path of Exile, that gallows scene where the classes stand next to each other, and it works. I don't understand Blizzard's decision to remove the Campfire. In my opinion, it was a huge step in the wrong direction. Blizzard even calls their developer interviews Campfire chats. So I'm asking, where the hell is the Campfire? Right now, the character selection in D4 looks like a cheap mobile game, soulless and without emotion. It's a terrible decision. I want the Campfire back. It's a mega signature of the whole series, and I'd make it even better. A view where you see everyone, maybe some upcoming classes hidden in the shadows, and at least 3 different animations for stepping up to the fire. That would be amazing. The next thing is the difficulty system, like WTF. Where and when has anyone ever seen 8 difficulties ranging from normal to Torment 4? Now they're adding Torment 5 and maybe even 6? That's 10 difficulties. What is that? Do you guys actually like this? And then there are the billions and trillions of damage numbers cluttering the screen. Maybe I'm a classicist, but I'd love to see the return of just 3 difficulties: Normal, Nightmare, and Hell. The Immortal Classic from the Diablo 2 works perfectly. Let me explain how I mean this and how I would handle difficulty progression. The campaign would be playable only on normal. After finishing it, the player would of course get to choose their next difficulty. Something similar to how it is now. Blizzard created a lot of activities, but their implementation feels wrong. What do I mean? After the campaign, the world opens up and you can choose what to do. The difficulties should unlock these activities gradually, guiding your progression all the way to the endgame, and the gear should follow the same logic. For example, normal difficulty would unlock open-world activities like map events, side quests, dungeons, legions, and Tier 1 bosses. Think of it like the current range from normal to Torment 2. It should feel more like playing classic Diablo 2. In open-world activities, only magic and rare items would drop, with a maximum item level of 100. It would be necessary to farm these first before heading into dungeons, making the item progression linear. Side quests should have interesting stories, and some quest chains would reward you with a book that adds +1 skill point. Something like in D2 or PoE2, Legions would also drop magic and rare items up to level 100. Then, in dungeons, I'd keep it so that at the end, one legendary item with an aspect always drops. Items in dungeons would always be level 120. No item showers. I want the player to actually be happy when they open a chest. I want magic and rare items to have relevance on normal, so people don't stop picking them up after 30 minutes because they're trash. Every activity would also drop materials, including boss materials. If a player has gathered the right gear, level 120, and materials, they should be able to kill a tier 1 boss. The boss would drop level 140 items, mostly rare, but with a chance for a unique. Not 100% like it is now, but maybe 20%, 1 in 5 kills. This would bring back that dopamine boost when something actually drops, and of course, every boss drops a different unique. We need to slow down the progress a bit and enjoy the journey to the higher difficulties. If someone wants to go to Nightmare, they should already have a build that revolves around a specific unique and actually understand how their character works. The next Nightmare difficulty would then open up activities like Strongholds, Nightmare Dungeons, Undercity, Infernal Hordes, 10 Waves, The Pit, and new tier 2 bosses plus the remaining ones from normal. Runes and new materials would start dropping, and crafting mechanics like the Heraldric Cube and Tempering would unlock. Think of this as the current Torment 2 to Torment 5. We'd see an increased drop rate for legendaries and uniques. The item level would jump by 20 for world activities, level 160, and more for instance stuff. Normal dungeons, 160, Nightmare Dungeons, Undercity, Hordes, Pit, Bosses, Tier 1, 180, Tier 2, Bosses, 200. At this stage, I would start adding more complex uniques. I see this difficulty as the main hub where people gear up and prepare for the dreaded final endgame difficulty, Hell. Casual players might not even reach this, but everyone will want to. Here, the player must be 100% prepared with a polished build because Hell will be brutal. Hell difficulty unlocks Hell Tides, Citadel of Hell, all boss tiers, and the new Prime Evil's pinnacle bosses, Mephisto, Lilith, and Diablo, trio. It would feature infinite Infernal Hordes, infinite Pits, infinite Hell Dungeons, and mechanics like Sanctification and Masterworking. This is where Mythic, Primal, and Blessed uniques drop. Think of this as the current Pit level 100 and above. The focus here would be on builds and cooperative play, a true endgame universe. Again, item levels would increase by 20 for basic activities, plus a scaling mechanic for infinite activities. My vision. Open world. 220 Hell Tides, 240 all-tier bosses, 260 Citadel, Pit, Hordes, Dungeons, base 240 item level, plus scaling Prime Evil bosses, 300 item level. For scaling activities, every new level would add plus 5 item level. The milestone would be level 300, where Mythic, Primal, and Blessed uniques start dropping. So the chance for these items would start at Prime Evil bosses, or level 12 of scaling activities. These activities would also have leaderboards for solo, 2, 3, and 4-man groups. Regarding uniques, Mythic, Purple, significantly more powerful than regular uniques, similar to now but with more variety. Maybe 20 types, instead of having useless ones. Primal, Red, these would be the current uniques, but with 100% higher stats and aspect efficacy, as if every stat was a greater affix and 4 times stronger. Blessed, Gold, Gifts from Angels. These would have unique abilities that completely flip spell mechanics or change how you play, plus special passives that can't be found anywhere else. Primal and Blessed items would have a much lower drop rate and couldn't be crafted, or only with extreme difficulty, to maintain that rarity and dopamine hit. As for an item level cap, maybe, or maybe not. Let the game be fun, let people farm higher and higher. Sky is the limit. I want items to have weight, from the low items on normal to the high-end stuff on Hell. Now, let's talk about activities. I'd love to see some changes here too. Let's start with the Citadel of Hell. I see this as an infinite instance in the style of Torghast from World of Warcraft Shadowlands. It would be a 4-player activity with interesting mechanics and puzzles that players have to solve. Things you won't find anywhere else. Every floor has a boss. After killing it, you choose from several unique powers and move to the next floor. You'd have a set number of lives. If you spend them all, the Citadel ends, and you get a reward based on how far you got. Some unique materials, maybe a weekly lockout with a huge reward to make it worth it. But the main focus would be on the fun. Yeah. For Infernal Hordes, I'm inspired by Rax and how he talked on his channel about super cool boons that could completely change the Hordes. You could do so many crazy things there. What's there now is just not enough. The whole endgame discussion could go on forever. There's so much wasted potential. Blizzard loves making something interesting and then abandoning it or not finishing it. I don't know why. Maybe the people there lack imagination or there's a problem somewhere else. Who knows? As for skills and the Paragon system, we'll see how it looks in Lord of Hatred. What we know now is that skills are being reworked, so we'll have to wait and see, but we haven't seen anything regarding Paragon yet. Let's assume the skills will be fine and functional, but for Paragon, I'd love to see a system similar to Path of Exile. Some kind of interesting tree, maybe not as massive, but it definitely needs to expand. Because today's Paragon boards are just off. Let's be real. Every board is more or less the same. The developers didn't put much work into uniqueness. It's like they built a system that's identical for every class, just swapping a few passives and scaling stats like strength or intelligence. Even the glyphs are pretty much the same, just swapped based on the class's spells. Players find the strongest combo, and then every build uses basically the same Paragon board, maybe swapping one board based on the ability they're using. It's an illusion of choice and a fake sense of progression. I don't think this is what we wanted as players. Sure, I get that it's hard to balance and all that, but it would be worth it, right? Personally, I'd like to see a passive tree where certain passives unlock new ones that actually change spell mechanics. Passive rarities from common to rare, all the way to legendary passives that completely change how things work. Also, requirements like stats, items, or even the number of skill points in a specific spell. It shouldn't be as simple as just clicking a node. The player should have to work for it, maybe even sacrifice something to enable a passive. Like we discussed with blessed items, a passive unlocked by a specific item or a combination of runes and sets. I'd love to see a mini university in the form of a passive tree, but on the other hand, simple enough that even someone after a lobotomy could grasp it, you know what I mean? Heh. Moving on to achievements, capstone dungeons, and milestones in general. Achievements or the season journey should have rewards set up so that people actually play everything the game offers. This means rewards that are worth it. Items you can't get anywhere else, cool cosmetics that aren't just hidden in a battle pass, passives, or skill points. For example, you'd get 25 skill points from leveling and another 25 from in-game activities. Also, improve the titles. Not just dozens of meaningless titles, but ones that actually show you achieve something others haven't. I'd also love to see achievements unlock new vendors, pets, or even a wardrobe, not having everything open from the start, but integrating it naturally into the progression so it doesn't feel forced. Capstone dungeons should definitely stay, but they should act as true milestones so players know they are ready for the next difficulty or boss type. They should carry more weight, maybe by unlocking specific game mechanics as you progress. I'd also love to see pet rarity. If I have a special mythic pet, it should be able to pick up everything I want, and I should have a setting to filter what it picks up and what it ignores. On the other hand, a basic gray pet would only pick up gold. The settings would unlock based on the pet's rarity. And finally, we absolutely need an auction house. People are already selling and trading materials and items on third-party sites anyway. Let's stop pretending it's not happening and that people aren't buying gold and mats. So, give us a fucking proper auction house. Everything we've discussed is, of course, open for debate. Some might think it's total nonsense or that I'm an idiot, while for others it might make perfect sense. Personally, I'd love to see Diablo move in this direction. I'm convinced it would be damn good, and people would enjoy the game more and stay longer. This is just a rough sketch from my head, not a detailed plan, but I'm mostly interested in the discussion in the comments. Do you have any insights or great ideas? Maybe if Blizzard saw this, they'd think about it. Lord of Hatred is coming, and I hope it doesn't disappoint us, dedicated players. So that's probably all for today. A huge thank you to the people who watched all the way to the end. I really appreciate you. Please let me know in the comments what you think and what you would do differently. See you in the next video.